Despite belonging to an exceedingly narrow racing game genre, Trackmania has been able to build a name for itself and attract a wide group of aficionados over time thanks to an exciting and fascinating gameplay that is capable of catching you in an instant with its simplicity and never giving up on you. So, before you realize it, you've been swept into an adrenaline-pumping maelstrom of brief runs across impossible terrain and circuits. Trackmania awakens the player's competitive side, entices him with clean and minimal graphics, and then traps him in an infinite spiral of frustration-free trial and error mechanics, in an endless succession of attempts aimed at constantly improving his times, sometimes by a few thousandths of a second. The new chapter is, in theory, a recreation of the renowned Trackmania Nations, a highly regarded episode of the story released in 2006. We say theoretically since it's extremely difficult to match the new title to the original. While the core playful mix remains practically intact, the new version definitely offers something extra from all perspectives. The design is fully innovated and updated, as are the content creation capabilities, another cornerstone of the Nadeo series' playful experience. There are new blocks and elements to employ, as well as a fresh new vehicle that is the identical in terms of performance for everyone, but is so customizable that we can make it unique and immediately recognized in the eyes of our clubmates or rivals. The challenge is played out on the edge of the sense, on the search for the optimal trajectory, with no disparities in performance, tuning, or benefit of any type. Setting a curve with greater precision and awareness of position can save us a lot of time in Trackmania, as well as in any other racing game worth its salt. Another critical factor is the capacity to master all terrain types in the best way feasible. Adapting your driving technique is critical because the behavior of the car changes drastically from one surface to the next. We'll be forced to move forward with drifts on land, while the ice, one of the most technical and challenging components to manage, will make the track very slippery and unpredictable. Despite its apparent simplicity, the new Trackmania driving model has proven to be deep and difficult to learn. The menus, in turn, are simple but rich. The first screen is entirely dedicated to single-player modes, from which we can access both the seasonal campaign, a selection of tracks that will be available only until the end of the current season, currently summer 2020, and the so-called map of the day, the result of a selection of custom tracks chosen by the development team and associated with a specific date. To summarize, in order to be classified and join the official leaderboards, we must run on the track that corresponds to the date of the day, while the others will only be available for training. An intriguing strategy to monetize community content while also enhancing the creative efforts of the platform's most prolific creators. The Live tab has modes that are quite similar to the normal tab, but with a strong online connotation. The two aforementioned modes will also return in this section, but with slightly different dynamics. Instead of limiting ourselves to climbing simple asynchronous rankings, we will compete in real competitions with other players, who will be on the track with us, but you will not be able to physically interact with their cars in Ghost, to reach the finish line in the shortest time possible before the timer expires, usually set to 5 or 15 minutes. The person who achieves the best result is declared the winner. The arcade option is comparable to the other two but faster and more direct. Once inside, we'll be thrown onto a random track where other very aggressive gamers will be waiting for us. Ubisoft Nadeo's output is a riot of ever-expanding material, the majority of which is directly developed by the community itself. The brand's truly social character is visible from the first login, when we find emphasized, in addition to the single-player modes and their online counterparts, the interesting club section, one of the most unique features of the complete package. Accessible solely to holders of one of the 2 annual passes, this serves as a sort of center where we may look for groups of players who share our interests or, more simply, gather numerous members of the same online community under one roof. We noticed some rather familiar ones while scrolling through the pages of those accessible, such as the one designed by Formula One racer Lando Norris. When we join a club, we will be able to use all of the creators' skins and engage in actual tailored campaigns. All of the logos can be customized to our liking, from the icon used in the search page to the contents of the stadium's Maxa screens, the massive setting within which all of our creations would be displayed. Because we are dealing with fully user-managed content, the quality has shown to be very inconsistent, and the risk that extremely good things wind up drowning in an ocean of mediocrity is very real. During our testing, however, we discovered some gems, including a personalized campaign targeted at reproposing, albeit with some constraints, several Formula 1 circuits and an unexpected compilation of tracks inspired by some legendary Mario Kart layouts. Of course, in a system that values player-generated content, the quality of the creative tools is critical. Trackmania has 3 editors, one for tracks, one for replays, and one for skins. The slopes are unquestionably the most useful, as well as the most advanced and intricate. Once inside, after selecting the control system and editor type, advanced or simplified, it just takes a few minutes to set up complex circuits. We recommend skipping the simple mode and jumping right into the full editor, which is slightly more complex but even richer in customization options. It will allow us to better handle transitions between terrain types and will provide us additional tools. The number of blocks at our disposal is simply astounding, so many that the likelihood of coming into 2 comparable pathways is exceedingly rare. Even the terrain plays an important role in the route's design. You can swiftly transition from a piece of clay to a completely frozen one, with all the repercussions it entails. Between obstacles, power-ups, and various modifiers, there are a lot of irons in the fire. Although they are less immediate and important, we thought the other 2 editors to be rather intriguing. Those of replays are perhaps the most elaborate, followed by those of skins. The Trackmania business model is unusual, perhaps the only one of its kind. Essentially, Nadeo's title is free to play, but in order to unlock the many club features, online tournaments, and the ability to use the editors in advanced mode, a pass, annual or 3-year, available in several tiers, is required. The game's free version features 25 seasonal maps that may be played both offline and online, as well as simplified editors. To participate in club events, advanced editors must have standard access, which starts at €9.99 per year. If you want the entire experience, including the ability to create skins for the car, further club customizations, and, most importantly, the ability to compete in the Open Grand League, you must instead pay a minimum of €29.99 for an annual club membership. In all honesty, we think the intermediate variant is quite appealing, possibly one of the most balanced options available.